Hey gang, Clay here. I'm at Mountain Music Exchange. We've got a cool comparison video we're able to do, and I want to do that with you real quick. Nothing too crazy, just from top to bottom on both guitars. We're going to look at the differences between a 1992 Les Paul Classic and a 2021 Les Paul, you guessed it, Classic. Okay, so before we get started, it is fairly rare that we get in a Gibson guitar, especially a Les Paul, a bound Les Paul, that we keep long enough for me to do one of these videos. So that's why I'm doing it. We're actually not, at this very moment, we're not a Gibson electric guitar dealer, but we do have two cool Gibsons in. So just so you know, this isn't a total shield. It is just me chatting with you guys about Les Pauls, which is one of my favorite things in the entire world to do. So we are going to start with this absolutely gorgeous 1992 Les Paul. And again, these are both classic models. So going from top to bottom, you'll notice immediately the narrower headstock on the 92. And you'll also notice on that narrower headstock, you'll see Gibson Deluxe tuners, which are, of course, vintage style, very cool. You'll see that gold foil classic truss rod cover. Also make note of the model, the word model here under Les Paul. There was a long stretch of Les Paul Classics did not have the word model under them. And the reason why was to sort of separate that from like the custom shop editions and that sort of thing, because the thinking at the time was that a Les Paul Classic was so close to a custom that you had to start changing. The Gibson had to start sort of changing a few things up to justify the price differences. I don't know how much of that's true, but it is a really cool, fun fact. Okay, rosewood fretboard, and of course the binding here is a little bit more aged, but it would have looked the same as the new one we're going to show you here shortly. Gorgeous flame top. You could also get these in a plus top, which is cool. Or I'm sorry, you could also get these in a plain top, which is still cool. I had a 99 Classic in a plain top. I thought it looked gorgeous. This burst is beautiful, and this top is just flashy enough to not be too much. It's kind of perfect. You'll see the tiny, scary, old school vintage style strap buttons here. If you don't want to replace these, and I'm not a fan of doing those, if you don't want to replace these, you have to find something that will lock that strap in place, because it's otherwise extremely scary, especially as this guitar gets older. Now, you'll see 1960 in the pick guard here. This guitar has covered pickups, but they would have normally been uncovered 496 and 500 ceramic pickups, which were big hit Gibson pickups at the time as heavier music was coming around. Those were in the Explorer and the Flying V. You'll also see no push-pull anything here, just 4 straight up, you know, 2 volume, 2 tone knobs with thumb bleeders. And the biggest difference is, of course, that ABR1 style bridge where the posts go directly into the body. So it's not an ABR1 style bridge, it's an ABR1 bridge where the posts go directly into the body. And again, the other scary strap button here. And something that's cool is I think this might actually be one piece. I'm gonna get you a better look at this probably right now, but I think this is actually one piece of mahogany back here, which will be another separator. And then you've got a one-piece mahogany neck all the way up to the very top. And that is the 92 Les Paul Classic in a nutshell. Now let's have us a look. It is also absolutely gorgeous, although just in its own special way. That neck, by the way, on the 92 was maybe the thinnest Les Paul neck I've ever held. And my 99 should have been the same profile, but it wasn't. Or it was, but this one's got a much thinner carve. This one, by comparison, feels like a 50s neck. The reason for that being, this is actually still a slim 60s neck, but it's in more of a C shape. It's a little deeper, fills up a little bit more of your hand. That one is a D-shaped neck, which is much slimmer, has sort of some flatter areas on it. It is a much speedier neck if you're into that sort of thing, and I am. Okay, so you'll see here that the headstock is a little bit different shaped. It's a little bit less Coke bottle. It's a little wider. You'll see that the number is stamped in rather than like a screen number. I don't know how to explain the difference, but you know what I'm talking about. And also Grover tuners. Those are the factory tuners on this one. And you also have a Graphtec nut here versus accordion nut on that one. Accordion nuts went on Gibson guitars for ages, maybe still do, but Graphtec nuts were on them and are on them from the factory for quite some time now as well. I think I prefer those, but I don't really have an opinion. One over the other, sure. Rosewood fretboard, you can tell here, maybe it's through play, maybe it's through lack of being oiled on this one, but that one is a darker rosewood. If that matters to you, you can always throw some lemon oil on there. You still have like the same trapezoid inlays, although these are like an acrylic versus those are like a mother of pearl. So it's a little, those will be a little flashier, a little brighter later on especially. Plain top here, but again, you could get the original Classic in a plain top as well. But there is no flame top Classic that I'm aware of unless there are certain like store exclusives from other places or something like that. You have uncovered 57 Classic and 57 Classic Plus pickups here. And you have 4 push-pulls. And they all perform a different function. Some are, one's like a straight bypass. I think one is like for phase. And of course, coil tap. And this bridge is it's advertised as an ABR1, but it's because the top part where the strings rest right below the saddles is an ABR1 style. But it does have the Nashville style posts right down here. And then you also get much larger strap buttons. My only hang up with vintage Gibsons or any older Gibsons, I love them all. But if I could fix or do one thing, it would be just to throw some different strap buttons on them. And I probably even would with that one and just keep the old ones for later. But yeah, bigger strap buttons so you can feel a little bit more secure out of the box that this guitar might hang out with you a little while longer before it and the strap part ways. Okay, so quick visual comparison for both. You can also check out both those headstocks and the differences. They're subtle, but they're there. Both are really cool guitars. Anyway, I appreciate you guys chatting with me and hanging out here. If you've got any comments about the video or about either of the two guitars or which you prefer or anything like that, let us know in the comments below. Check us out on mountainmusicexchange.com where you can see all of our new and used inventory in stock. As soon as we get it, we post it so you can see it. You can also chat with one of us on there, hang out with us on Facebook, and hang out with us on Instagram at mountainmusic.com, and of course YouTube as well, where we've got a ton of other videos posted for you guys to watch. And I think that's got us. Gang, I'm Clay, and you rock. Let's go play some Les Pauls and have a good one. We'll see you.